You heard me.
Probably not be building a fire right now.
No, they shouldn't. If they don't know that, so much.
I've had times where I wish I would just die. You know, I wish I wouldn't wake up. You know, those thoughts have come through my head. It's like, you know, really, I'm doing this for what? This is just, so you're just in survival mode. This is just survival mode, period. So we just kind of wait and
And then we stand for hours and wait for the hot team or
decide what we're going to do and how long we wait till the police come and tag us. And once they leave again, then we set up everything again. It's just a vicious cycle.
We're learning more about the homeless crisis in Colorado. The latest survey numbers showing our state is near the top of the list across the nation.
And local experts say you can't address the homeless problem without taking a look, of course, at mental health.
And 61 homeless people died last year countywide. That's according to the El Paso County Coroner's Office. Some believe that number could even be higher.
Yeah, well, it's the first time the Coroner's Office has... I think when you do this day to day, you know, homeless death is something that we see a lot of. This was really the first time in the history of our office where we took that subpopulation of people and really kind of took a deeper dive in what was going on with them.
No race listed. Let me look at the DC.
So we started this sort of project way back in the beginning of 2018, and over the course of 2018 and through the middle of 2019, we had about the mid-80s of homeless deaths that we had a chance to kind of take a look at and collect really good data on. One of the biggest challenges, honestly, starting this project was, how do you define homelessness? Like, what does that mean? What does that look like? Because in every one of these cases, we have to say yes or no. Ultimately, whether the night that they died was out under the stars or not, these people are still dealing with all of the other stressors, both mental, psychological, physical, that go along with the life of someone who's transient.
I don't play well with others.
Yeah. I was at the library last June and met Doug through a friend, and that's how we met. And we've been together ever since, trying to figure out how to get out of this. Lori, the one with the pit bulls, she's over here. These people, I don't know who they are. Everyone I've talked to is pretty much not camera shy or not willing to talk to you, because everybody pretty much has a story out here, and they want their stories heard.
Yeah.
Lori?
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. That's Buffy and Rascal, wherever they are over there. My four-legged children, and my guard dog, and my service dogs. I'm disabled, and it sucks being out here. They kicked me out because I called animal control on them. Because the animals were in a locked room where we could not access into it. That's why I'm out here. I'm disabled. I have degenerative disc disease, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, depression, anxiety, asthmatic, hypoglycemic, claustrophobic. I mean, there's more I can go on. Do they give a shit? No. Sorry for my language. I do apologize for that. And you know what? I'll admit it to this moment. And I'm still not afraid to admit it to this moment. I'm scared fucking to death being out here. Even with the boys out here. I'm scared to death. And they know it. But I'm not, at least I can admit it. And I'm not ashamed of it. But I'm not proud of it either. But being as a single woman and a disabled woman, I don't belong out here. This is the devil's den, like I said.
Since I've been staying in the shelters down here in the Springs area, I've been hospitalized 3 times. And that's from staying in the shelter. When I'm outdoors, I'm so much more healthier.
It is really easy to judge someone's decisions when you don't understand what the options that were available are. A lot of the people that we see that are sleeping outside really do not feel safe in a shelter. And so when we are asking people with highly traumatized histories to step into a room with 50, 80, 100 other people, all of whom have highly traumatized histories, some of whom have colds, just the common cold, some of whom have serious mental health concerns. I think that if we are really thoughtful, it's easy to see why someone might say, I can't do that. For folks who are unable or unwilling to be in a shelter, one could spend all day just getting meals in this community, just to stay alive. And the expense of that, the cost of that, is inefficiency in their own ability to self-sustain. They are spending vital daylight hours where they could be seeking out resources, volunteering somewhere, doing just basic survival.
I mean, try to evade the pot team. That's been the worst part of my whole experience out here. Even jail, this has been the worst. Trying to avoid getting caught up in the system again, I think, is the hardest thing. I mean, if you talk to anybody out here, they've all been to CJC at least one time. And now it's just on survival mode.
Well, how are you going to get to court with 8 puppies?
I've got the mother in a kennel.
Can you do me a favor and talk to Jansen real quick?
I'm going to read off some conditions, and you can just say yes or no. I ride with Hot a few days out of the week, and also the downtown team a few days out of the week. So I basically just provide resources where I can and build rapport, and riding with the police allows me to access areas that I wouldn't otherwise be able to access. So I do see a lot of mental illness, a lot of physical disabilities, a lot of substance use, and they're all just barriers that people need to overcome.
Police department, anybody in there? Hello, police department.
I ride a bicycle 14 miles just to fly a sign, to have cigarettes, caffeine. I've got plenty of food. That's no problem. It's just the cigarettes and caffeine, and if we want coffee in the morning and stuff. That's why I go fly a sign. And I collect a check each month. But my check don't last. I only get $4.53. That's it. And that don't even last to it. I can't even get a place here to get her off the street, to get myself off the street. It don't work like that. $4.53 ain't gonna get you there. $7.53, they ain't gonna get you nowhere.
The individual stories, I think, have power in them, and that they do bring back a sense of humanity. They show you that I've experienced similar things in my life, or I have a friend who's experienced that, and how quickly in many of our lives, things that are out of our control, mental illness, and even substance abuse, to some degree, can quickly unravel a life that was once stable to the point where it's very clearly not anymore.
Because I think it's about 10 to 8 to the hour.
Tonight is a night where we mourn the loss of 23 individuals experiencing homelessness who lost their lives on the streets of our area. But it's not just a night where we want to mourn their loss, it's a night where we want to celebrate their lives as well. And the one thing I want to ask all of you is that their lives be a constant reminder that we should never, as a society, allow this to happen. So when you leave here tonight, mourn their loss, celebrate their lives, and promise yourself and promise each other that we will all strive for a community where no one has to die on the streets.
One of the most egregious challenges that we face is that we can look at the poverty, we can look at increasing alarming rates of homelessness, increasing alarming rates of death related to poverty or homelessness, and call some of those deaths natural. It is an undermining of the American dream. It is undermining of our American values, and it is undermining of beloved community. And we all want to be a part of beloved community.
You know, anytime you have an issue that you face as a community and you've got big decisions to make about what you're going to do about it, those decisions have to be informed by data. And that's one of the key functions that this office serves, is providing information on, really in most cases, worst case scenario, where the system fails, where things go wrong, so that as we begin and further these conversations about what to do as a community, we have a true understanding of what's going on.
I believe that if we really understood the magnitude and complexity of the problem, we could no longer sit still, not for a minute, not for a second. We would all be out of our seats doing everything we can, not only to save that which can be saved, but to prevent every single instance of harm in which we are all complicit.
I think that what people, especially people that don't have any concept of this life, need to realize is anybody can be homeless. I never thought I would be homeless.
There's a lot of families that are a paycheck away from it.
But anybody here can be homeless. So, you know, when you look at that person on the street, you should have some kind of empathy for them, because you never know, that could be you, that could be your kid, that could be your parents. You know, I think that's what people, you know, they look at homelessness as such a,
that we're bums,
it's like,
looking for a handout.
It's like a dirty word. I know for both of us, I think we're both optimistic. We still are optimists.
Our glass is still half full.
Yeah, we still believe in the world. I mean, I'm not going to check you out because, you know, it's not an option. It's just, to me, it's just not an option.